We'll see. We'll see. Okay. I'll think of something that's kind of in between retracting a surprise, but also giving a surprise at the same time. Speaking of surprises, Debbie Tower is teaching the reset class on January 1st in the Lancaster studio. There's one in the 2 other studios as well. There's just different people teaching them. They're all at the same time, 1:30 to 3:30. So if you're interested in that or the workshops that we've got going on with breathwork and meditation, we can talk about those after class. Let's get started on child's pose. Let's get moving and grooving. We're about to finish out 2022. Let's finish strong. Spread out your fingers nice and wide and connect them to the floor. Let your hips settle heavy back onto your heels. And take a deep breath in together. Fill yourself all the way up. Big exhale out. Another big breath like that. Fill up together. Big exhale together. One more. Fill up all the way. Exhale all the way. And start to build your Ujjayi breath in a powerful way that not only fills the space on your mat, but fills the space around your mat, wherever it is you happen to be practicing. Downward facing dog. Keep moving the body around any way that you need to move it. Get your fingertips way down into the mat so you're connected right away, pulling the attention out of what's going on in your brain and down into your body so you can get curious about your body moving through space. Walk your feet up to your hands, hang in ragdoll. Any arm variation you want in your ragdoll, and then start to soften your knees so you can really lift the pit of your belly up to the ceiling. And press into your feet, rise all the way up to standing. Reach through your fingertips. Bring your thumbs to heart center. Choose your intention for your practice, whether that's surprise or not surprise or somewhere in between. And we'll send out those intentions with 3 big ohms. Deep breath in. Inhale, reach up, extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, lengthen out your spine. High push up and pause. Bring your right knee to your left elbow, right knee to left elbow, so underneath your body, then left knee to right elbow, underneath and tap. Good. Low push up or lower all the way to the floor. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. We'll keep with that crisscross with the knee taps tonight. Take a deep breath in. Empty it out. Breathe in. Exhale. Last one. Exhale completely. Look forward and move. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold down. Extended mountain. Root your feet and reach through your fingertips. Forward fold. Halfway lift, pit of the belly in. High push up. Keep the pit of your belly in. Knee tap across the body. Knee tap across the body. Good. Low push up or all the way down. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breathe in together. Empty it out. 2 more. In. Exhale. Last one. Fill all the way. Empty all the way. Look forward and move. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Bow down. Extended mountain. Reach up. Lift through your chest. Forward fold. Halfway lift. High plank. Pit of the belly. In and up. Knee tap. Knee tap. Low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in. Push the air out. Feel your low belly pull in on the exhale. Breath in. Breath out. Last one. Exhale completely. Step or jump to the head of your mat. Halfway lift. Fold down. Extended mountain. Rise up. Stretch the sides of your body up. Forward fold. Halfway lift. High push up. Knee tap to the opposite elbow. Knee tap to the opposite elbow. Low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breathe in together. Purposeful exhale. Full breath. Empty out. Last one. Empty to the pit of your belly. Jump to the head of your mat. Halfway lift. Fold down. Last Sunday, rise up to standing. Reach up. Forward fold. Halfway lift. High plank. Knee tap to the opposite. Knee tap to the opposite. Good. Low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths in. Empty out. Full inhale. Big exhale. Last one. Empty out. Step or jump forward. Halfway lift. Fold down. Chair pose and stay. Way back in your hips. Keep building the breath and allow it to build the heat in your legs from skin to muscle to bone on both of your legs. One more breath in here. Twist right on your exhale. Inhale, open the arms. Stay for the breath out. Good. Chair pose. Reach. Twist left on your exhale. Inhale to open. Stay in exhale. Chair pose. Fold. Halfway lift. High plank. Right knee to left elbow. Left knee to right elbow. Low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Warrior 1 right side. Step through. You've got 1 big breath to reach up. Chaturanga on your exhale. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side, step through, warrior 1. 1 long inhale to the very peak of the pose. Chaturanga, hands to the mat. Upward facing. Downward facing. Breathe in together. Big exhale. 2 more. In. Empty. Last one. Push all the air back out. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold down. Chair pose. 1 breath. Reach. Twist right on your exhale. Open, breathe in. Stay and breathe out. Chair pose. Twist left. Inhale to open. Stay and twist. Chair pose. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Long flat back. High plank. Knee tap. Knee tap. Low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right side warrior 1. Step into it. Take a deep lunge in your front leg. Low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side, step it through. Plug your big toe mounds into the floor. Low push up. Inhale up. Exhale down. Breathe in together. Empty it out. Breath in. Breath out. Push the air back out. Last one. Empty completely. Step or jump forward. Halfway lift. Bow down. Chair pose. Way back in your hips. Twist right. Inhale to open. Stay and twist. Back to chair. Twist left. Inhale, open. Stay and twist. Chair pose. Fold. Halfway lift. High plank. Right knee, left elbow. Left knee, right elbow. Low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Warrior 1 on the right. Step through a long, slow inhale all the way up to your fingers. Low push up on the exhale. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Left side, step it through. Connect and stretch up and out of your pelvis. Low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Big breath in together. Clear it out. One more. Exhale completely. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold down. Last sun B. Chair pose. Way down in it. Twist to the right. Inhale, open. Stay and twist. Chair pose. Twist left. Inhale, open. Stay and twist. Chair. Forward fold. Halfway lift. High plank. Right knee to left elbow. Left knee to left elbow. Lower down. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right side warrior one. Step into it. Deepest lunge yet on this side. Chaturanga. Hands to the floor. Upward facing. Downward facing. Left side. Last one on the left. Step it through. Take your gaze to one spot. Low push up. Inhale up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Send your right leg up to the sky. Bend your knee and open your hip. Stay here in three-legged dog or flip. Go all the way over. Full connection. Feet on the floor, fingertips on the floor. Lots of space across your chest that you create by pulling your shoulder blades together on your back. Flip back over, side plank. Stack one ankle on top of the other, one hip on top of the other. Beautiful. Maybe that top leg floats up to the sky. You create the variation of side plank that you need. And now we'll stretch out your sideways. Stretch your top arm over your ear past the front edge of the mat. Yes. So it's a long line from the top foot all the way to the fingertips of the top hand. One more breath in. Low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Send your left leg up to the sky. Bend your knee and open your hip. Stay or flip dog. Space across the chest by squeezing the shoulder blades together on your back. So even though the shoulder blades come in, the upper back can still stay nice and broad for you. Yes, Britt, just like that. Flip back over, side plank. Stack joint over joint, bone on top of bone. So it's a nice stable structure from the ground all the way up to the top fingertips. Keep your gaze on one spot, reach your top arm over your ear and get long in your sideways. You might even lift your hips a little bit higher to increase the stretch. Nice, Brian, on the side of your waist. High to low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a full breath in together. Clear it out. Breath in. Exhale. One more. Clear it completely. Right side crescent lunge. Step your right foot between your hands. Hands up to the ceiling. Then right away, get down into the ball mound of your back foot where you've got all the toes on the back foot in the mat. Even the pinky toe. Good. Now come nice and deep into your front leg. Hands to heart center. Twist right. Stay strong in that back foot. Press the toes into the mat, the heels straight up to the ceiling. Open your arms. Take a half bind, top arm around your back. It may be around the outside of your hip or maybe it comes down into the front of your hip depending on your range of motion. Beautiful. Everyone, peel that top shoulder open a little bit more. High to low push up. Some of you are almost with that full bind there. I like that. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side crescent lunge. Step through. We're just making space and seeing what there is to see. Ball mound of the back foot in the floor. Low in the lunge. The knee on top of the ankle. Hands to heart center. Twist. All the toes on the back foot into the ground so the heel can stack. Open your arms. Plug your front big toe mound down. Take a half bind. If you're working on the full bind, the more you commit to that low lunge in the front leg, the more space you give yourself to wrap and connect the fingertips. Nice, Lauren. Lots of space. One more breath here. Low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Full breath in. Sigh it out. Yeah, make some noise with it. Breathe in. Breath out. Last one. Exhale completely. Step or jump, feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold down. Chair pose and stay. Down, down, down into your hips. And the tailbone straight to the back edge of your mat. Lift and spread your toes off of the mat. Lower down so far that you can get your sit bones to touch the floor. All the way down. Keep sitting in the chair all the way down until your butt touches the floor. Round your spine, rock back. And forward, back up into chair pose. You might need your hand to help assist you back up into the chair. Yeah, or a second rock because you need the momentum. Come up into the chair. Hands to heart center, twist right. Some surprises, not too many, right? Open your arms, spread your fingertips apart. And then if your breath got away from you, right back into it. Stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Chair pose, forward fold. Take your first 2 fingers around your big toes. Tip your tailbone up to the ceiling. So as new things start to show up in your practice or you get thrown a curveball, like how can you still stay in the breath, stay with your drishti, your eyes on one spot, and just let whatever's happening happen? Release your hands. Take crow pose from the head of your mat. You'll have the opportunity to take 2. So if you wanted to take side crow or a different variation, you'll have time for that. Crow pose from the head of the mat. Sink your fingertips down into the floor on purpose. Yeah, let it be a little messy. Maybe you're trying something on that's new. Perfect. Stay in the work. Set your gaze on one spot. One more breath. Step or jump back. Low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take one breath in together. A full breath out. Move forward. Halfway lift. Fold down. Chair pose and stay. You've got a little bit of a heads up on this side. You know where you're going, but create the chair pose first, right? Skin to muscle to bone on both legs. Toes light and lifted. Then it's really the pit of the belly pulling in and up that'll help you as you lower your hips all the way down to the mat. Nice and slow. Can you get your tailbone to touch before you need to kick out your feet? I know. Rock back. Rock forward. Come back up into the chair. Yes. Some are more smooth on the one side. Some more smooth on this side. I like it. So way back in your hips. Hands to heart twist left. Open your arms. Back into that 4-part Ujjayi breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Chair pose. Forward fold. Step on your palms for gorilla. Toes all the way up to your wrists. So the surprise we're working on here is like having fun, like not being so serious in your practice. So maybe that's happening for you, or maybe it's showing up as frustration. You're like, I don't want that to happen right now. Yeah, sit with that and see what comes up to the surface as the practice keeps going. Release your hands. Take crow pose number 2 from the head of your mat. When you make space for fun to happen in your practice and you're not caught up in what specifically it looks like on the outside, there's more room for you to explore. Maybe the feet come closer together in the crow, or the hips go lower in the goddess squat. Then step or jump back, low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take one breath in together. A full breath out. Step or jump, feet to hands. Halfway lift, fold down. Rise all the way up to standing. Eagle pose, right side. Right arm under, right leg over. Eyes land on one spot. Right away, drop into that breath. Squeeze your legs together. Squeeze your arms together. Keep the arms bound. Take airplane with your legs. Press your foot straight back. So far back with that lifted foot that you could touch whatever's behind you, the wall, a piece of furniture. Full airplane, reach back. Right back into the pit of the belly. Beautiful, to help keep that balance between the upper and lower parts of your body. Half moon. Left hand to the floor or block. Right arm up to the ceiling. Flex your lifted ankle a lot to help lift it up toward the ceiling. Yeah, Maurice, there you go. So you expand out as much as possible. Then both feet to the floor. Eagle pose, left side. Left arm under, left leg over. Eyes on one spot. Start to coil in. You're just oscillating between the two things. A pose where you're fully expanded, a pose where you're wrapped into center line. And then eventually you start to do both in each and every pose. Arms stay bound, airplane with your legs. So there's a hugging in and a pressing out in each and every pose. Arms hug in, leg presses out, full airplane. Leg muscles hug into bone here. Heart reaches forward, up and out. Half moon. Right hand down, left arm up. All about the expansion in the half moon. Out through the fingertips and out through both of your feet. Big inhale. Both feet to the mat. Eagle pose, right side. Second set. Right arm under, right leg over. Squeeze in, right into center line. The front ribs into center, the pit of your belly into center. Arms stay bound, airplane with your legs. We're going someplace different, so just listen, one pose at a time. Full airplane. What's different about the airplane on this side? Can you square your hips a little bit more by pulling in the pit of your belly? Yes, and turning that right hip down. Good. Now standing splits. Walk your hands down to the floor. Plant your palms on the floor, even if that means you need to bend your standing knee a bit. We'll take 3 handstand hops. So flat hands on the floor. Look out in front of your fingertips. You're going to bend your left knee and hop and kick that top leg to the sky. Ready, set, go. Yep, could be an inch, could be a foot. You're doing 3 hops and then forward folds. Oh, yeah. Rise up to standing. Eagle pose, left side, second set. Left arm under, left leg over. Eyes settled on one point, come back to the breathing. Super common for any kind of inversion work partway through the class to kind of lose the breath or you lose the gaze. No big deal. Come right back to it. Arms stay bound, airplane with your legs. Press, press, press. See if you can create square hips here. It's usually the left hip that needs to turn down a little bit. Full airplane. Stretch the chest forward, the foot straight back. Yes. Then standing splits, hands down to the mat. Bend your right knee as much as you need to get 2 flat hands on the mat for these handstand hops, these little prep hops. Look out in front of your fingertips. That's where you want your weight to shift. 3 big hops. Ready? Go. Yes, eyes stay in front of your fingertips so the weight can shift forward. After your 3rd hop, both feet to the mat, forward fold. Rise all the way up to standing. Standing bow or dancer's pose, right side. Standing bow, soft crease of the elbow faces out, and then you grab the inside of your ankle. If you're taking dancers and have a strap, go for it. Make this slow and smooth, like you're moving underwater in this standing bow or dancer. where you've got plenty of time to lead the chest forward, to press your lifted shin back. You're taking up space and expanding with each breath. Big inhale, open. Switch sides. Left side, standing bow dancer. Eyes on one spot and go. Notice if the breath gets short or if it disappears. See if slowing down how you're expressing the pose gives you room for breath. Big inhale. Switch. Right side. You can grab the strap if you want to switch to dancers and vice versa to standing bow. Go for it. Eyes on one spot. And there's time. There's a difference between rushing from the beginning of the pose to the peak of the pose and then slowly, methodically moving your body from point A to point B. One more inhale. Switch. Last one on the left. What does it look like when you're mindfully choosing to move slowly through space as you go from point A to point B? In a deeper lunge, a deeper bend in the knee, then less bend in the knee. Find the sweet spot. One more breath. Feet to the mat. Tree pose on the right. Start with hands at heart center. Before you do anything with your hands and your arms, lengthen your side waist. And by side waist, I mean that space between the top of your hip and your lowest rib, that few inches of flesh. Stretch that out nice and long. Yeah, now any arm variation you want, keep that space in your side waist. Maybe you stretch it even, standing foot into the floor and pulling your hip points lower to the ground, lengthening it in both directions. One more breath. Switch sides, left side tree. Hands start at heart center. Lengthen the side waist. Makes a taller spine, more space in your low back. And then when you've got as long as you can get in your side waist, any arm variation. Steady rhythmic breath. The more breathing you add to it, is there more space for a longer side waist? Last inhale, feet to the floor. Extended mountain, reach your hands up to the ceiling. Forward fold. Halfway lift. High push up. Right knee to left elbow. Left knee to right elbow. Low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right side triangle. Step your right foot between your hands. Take up as much space as you can, like your whole mat worth of space. Then right hand comes down to your front shin or the block outside your shin. You've got two options for a bind here in triangle tonight. Either your hand behind your head with your elbow up to the ceiling or your hand around behind your back. If you take the hand behind your head, it gives you space to open up your shoulder. Even if that space is very small, stick with it and breathe. If you've got the hand around your back, maybe you can use that hand or the fingertips to help slide your front thigh bone back and into the hip socket. Beautiful. Press into your feet. Rise up to standing. Side facing wide leg fold. Turn your feet to face the long edge of your mat. Hinge forward. Ninja lunges on this side tonight. Bend your right knee. Sink into your right hip. Into the left knee and into your left hip. If you're getting pretty low to the ground, you can turn the toes on your extended leg up to the ceiling to shift where the stretch is in the back of your leg. Maybe you try that on and you're like, yes, that's a good fit. No, that's not for me right now. And you stick with your foot flat on the floor. Perfect. Customize it as you need. Another breath or two to get complete. And then meet up and center. Press into your feet, rise up to stand. Namaste, front facing forward fold, facing the front edge of your mat, or split pose if you want to put that piece into your practice. Hinge forward. Yeah, hands can be on your hips or take a bind. That one's up to you. Splits or the namaste fold, hinge forward. So whether you're in the split or the namaste fold, you want square hips. Both of the hips facing the front edge of the mat. That might mean a little softness in one of your knees to help coax the hip forward. You give a little space in one place so you can get space somewhere else. Oftentimes the spot on your body that feels like it doesn't have enough room or it's too tight is because it needs more space from somewhere else, not that particular spot. Twisting triangle or twisting split. Left arm down, right arm straight out. Keep zipping up the front of your low belly, lifted in and up to your torso. Take one more breath together here. Chaturanga, hands to the floor. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side triangle, step your left foot between your hands. Lots of space on your mat. Your whole mat's worth of space between your feet. And then decide if the hand goes on the shin or the block. Add your bind, top hand behind your head so the elbow points straight up, or top arm behind your back. You'll know the right one to do because it'll be the one that feels like it's got less space. That's where you want to do the work. I know. Yeah, for me, it's elbow up to the ceiling. I know. Keep squeezing your shoulder blades together on your back. Then press into your feet. Rise up to standing. Side facing wide leg fold. Take a bind behind your back. Either clasp your hands together or put a towel or strap between your hands. Hinge forward. If your hands are bound, can you soften your elbows and make your palms press together while your hands are clasped? Instead of letting the palms peel apart but the fingertips stay interlaced, yeah, there you go. Keep those squeezed together. If your hands are on a strap or the towel, keep a little bit of softness in the elbows so the work stays in your upper back and shoulders. Nice adjustments. Release the hands down, rise all the way up to standing. Namaste, front facing or splits. Square off your hips, hinge forward. How's your breathing now in this point in your practice? Steady and rhythmic, still the 4-part breath. You come back to it again and again. See how much space you've got to work with. Twisting triangle or twisting split. Eyes set to one spot. Press your heart right up to the surface of your chest so you take up even more space. One more breath together here. High to low push up. Big breath in up dog. Let it out in down dog. Breathe in together. Empty it out. Full breath. Big exhale. Last one. Empty completely. Roll out to your high plank. Slow as you can, lower all the way to the mat. Breathe on your way down. Yeah, and then when you get there, Maurice will get there tomorrow. He's going extremely slow. Locust pose is next. Palms back by your hips. Palms face the floor. Squeeze your shoulder blades together before you even come up from the floor. Rise up. Lift your chest, lift your shoulders. If your toes come off the floor and you've got space for that in your low back, perfect. Now stretch, crown of the head to toes. The body as long as humanly possible. One more breath in. Lower down. Rock the hips out left and right. Locust number 2. You can bind your hands at your low back or keep them down by your hips. Rise up and away from the floor. Squeeze your inner thighs together, long, narrow body. And we'll add on one piece. Flutter kicks with your feet. Keep them tight and close together. Be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Rock out the hips side to side. Floor bow number 1 of 2. Grab one ankle or both. Bend your knees. Grab a hold. Rise up and away from the mat. Heart straight forward, feet straight up to the ceiling. So you press your energy out of the pose. Make it a big open back bend. And lower down. Hips left and right. Second floor bow. Switch legs or grab both. Press, lift, go. Soles of the feet straight up to the sky. Press out through the chest. Press back through your shins. Press up through your feet. Lower down. Hips side to side. Upward facing dog. Rise up off your mat. Downward facing dog. Press back. Jump through to sit. Come down onto your back for bridge pose. Down to your back. Plant 2 flat feet on the floor. Press in and rise up. You can clasp your hands underneath your back for your bridge pose and use that to help tuck your shoulder heads underneath you one at a time. Take one more breath in. Lift your hips. Lower down. Knees side to side. Bridge number 2. Press down, lift up. Pull your leg muscles into your leg bones. Wake up both of your legs. Right knee into your chest. Press your right foot up to the sky. You can keep a long straight leg or pulse your hips up to the ceiling for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch legs. Left knee in, left leg up to the sky. You got it. Hold it or pulse up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Knees side to side. All right, yogis, stick with bridge or move on to wheel. Tuck your fingertips under your shoulders. Press, lift, go. Wheel number 1 or bridge number 3, up and away from the mat. Big and open. Then tuck your chin and lower down. Breath in together. Breath out together. Number 2, wheel. Tuck your fingertips, rise up. Yes, with no hesitation, right? You've already cleared all of that out of the way, so now it's just the bridge or wheel. Then tuck your chin and come down. Breathe in together. Breath out together. Press, lift, go. Wheel pose. Again and again, no hesitation. You choose the pose and you're in the pose. Then lower down. Breath in. Big breath out. Press, lift, go. Bridge, wheel, up and away from the floor. You've built momentum and space the whole practice to land in this peak pose. Lower down. Full breath. Big exhale. Number 5. There's only 2 more. Press and go. Bridge or wheel. Feet connected down into the floor. Lower down. Breath in. Big exhale. Last one, last bridge, last wheel, press and go. Press and go. Stay up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Supta Baddha Konasana. Eyes stay open. Let them land on one point. Steady rhythmic breath. Dead bug. You can grab the edges of your feet or the backs of your thighs. Legs straight up in the air. Hands either behind your head for more of a challenge or under your hips for more support. We'll do something similar to scissor legs. Something similar. So instead of keeping the legs together, I want you to let your legs come nice and wide as they lower to the floor. Like you're making a big circle with your legs. They'll meet in the center when they hover above the mat. Yep, there you go. Then straight up to the ceiling. Good. Circle number 2, wide and down towards the floor. Belly down to the mat as they meet in the center when your feet hover. Good. Legs back up to the sky. Circle number 3, around, nice and slow, down towards the floor. Bring them together at the center and back up. 2 more. Slow, big circle number 4, all the way down. Then squeeze your inner thighs together and lift your legs up to the ceiling. Last one, big circle, out and around. Belly down to the floor, belly down to the floor. Bring it into center, legs up in the air, knees into your chest. Oh, yeah. Good stuff. Rock forward and back 3 times. Make your way up into boat pose with a block or your hands right at heart center. Right up into your boat pose. You can have feet on the floor for more stability in this pose. Block our hands at heart center. We're going to row the boat side to side. Go for 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees into your chest. Downward facing dog. Make your way there. Oofta. Down dog to right side half pigeon. Right knee to your right wrist. If you're taking the pose on your back, you can hug that shin into your chest with your legs like a figure 4. Create that balance, the pulling in one place and the stretching out and making space in the other. Expansion and contraction at the same time. How's your breathing from here? The mind drifts away. Bring it back to your breath. Few more breaths in half pigeon. You can stay where you are or take king pigeon. If you're taking king pigeon, you'll rise up, bend your back knee, and grab a hold of your back foot or your back ankle. Downward facing dog, shake it out. Left side half pigeon. Left knee to left wrist. What would you have space for if you just let this pose take over? Give yourself some room. Not trying to make it perfect or any specific way. You just let the shape of the pose happen, and then what's possible. So often we have expectations wrapped around things, how the pose should look, how my practice should be, how I should show up, how I need to have this relationship or that conversation. And when you take a step back and let there be a little bit of space, many more possibilities can happen. Stay your king pigeon. Downward facing dog. One last hip opener, frog pose or seated wide leg fold. Frogs facing the floor. Make sure you've got some cushion under both of your knees, whether that's a mat, a towel, blanket. Seated wide leg folds, a little bit of softness to the backs of your knees and then toes up to the ceiling. And while you're here in the shape of the pose, what else can you give up? You cleared some space, you made some room in your physical body and in your head. What else can you just throw out that's not serving you right now? It's usually this time of year where things get really convoluted and crowded and tangled up into a big mess. What can you throw out? So mentally, you might be going off a list of something and you're just ticking things off and getting rid of things or things that you would like to get rid of. Energetically, that tangled ball, that mess, hangs out in your hips. So if you were to let go of those things, is there more physical space possible in your hips because you've released something energetically from your hips? If you let go of just one thing, how does that shift how your hips show up in the pose? Make your way out, a frog or seated wide leg fold. Find your way back onto your mat. For seated single leg extension, we'll take the side bend variation tonight. So right leg out, left heel in. Then send your right arm down your right leg so your left arm can reach up and over your left ear. And for a lot of us to keep both hips on the floor while you're doing this side bend, you're not reaching very far, certainly not touching your toes. Perfect. Stay in that space. I want you to be in a space where you can still take deep breaths because the breathing is what helps to stretch out the length of the side of your body. So if you're so low that the breath is short or stilted, come out of it a little bit. You can maintain the shape of the side bend and still have more space there. Switch sides, left leg out, right heel in. Side bend. Top arm over your ear, long side of your body. You'll know you're in just the right spot because you can still breathe deeply. Seated forward fold, both legs straight out. Fold over your legs. A little bit or a lot of a bend in both of your knees. Toes up to the ceiling. You can let your spine round here. Maybe let your head hang down towards your legs so the back of your neck can stretch out. Then tabletop or reverse plank. Plant your palms behind your hips. Fingertips face the front edge of your mat. Lift your hips up to the sky. Bent knees and flat feet for tables. Reverse planks. Long legs. Point your toes down to the ground as best you can. Nice. Squeeze your inner thighs together a lot. You've got one more breath in. And lower down. Come all the way down onto your back. We'll get upside down one last time. So if you felt like those handstand hops were for you earlier in practice, you want to take a few more, now's the time. Maybe waterfall with your legs in the air is the right fit, or shoulder stand by way of plow. Whatever inversion you take, worry less about making it perfect and more about feeling what's actually happening in the pose. Where is the weight in the foundation of the pose? Where is your gaze? What's actually happening? Headstands and handstands, another breath or two, and then child's pose for the reset. Shoulder stands to plow if you're not already there. Plow to deaf yogi. Bend your knees, hug them around the sides of your head. A rounded spine. Let your middle of your back press towards the front edge of your mat. And slowly lower down, piece by piece. Bone by bone. Knees into your chest. Drop them over to the right and look left. Supine twist. Supine twist, opposite way. Supta Baddha Konasana. If you're in studio, you've got a cold eye towel by the upper corner of your mat. Shavasana. Stretch out your legs nice and long. Let your arms stretch out wide by your sides. Take up some space. And take a big full breath in. Fill yourself up and up and up. Exhale it out. Let your entire body rest easy on your mat. Deepen your breath. Bring some movement back into your hands and your feet. And plant your feet on the floor and rock onto your right side. With your eyes still closed, press down and rise up. Take a comfortable seat. Inhale, reach your hands overhead. Exhale, thumbs to heart center. Let's finish our practice together with 3 final ohms. Deep breath in. Deep breath in. Exhale it out. Thumb knuckles to forehead center. Thank you all so much. Signing in virtually, coming into the studio, and making your practice happen. Namaste. Good work, everybody. Eye towels can go in the basket just outside the studio door. If you've got any questions about stuff we've got coming up in January, anything at all, let me know. Still got space for that detox class, and they're super fun, and Debbie is very amped up to teach it. So I can get you signed up for that as well. Have an awesome rest of your night.